Alright, I'm going to go over the 18th cognitive bias of the 25 listed in Charlie Munger's book. This is the availability misweighing tendency, which is you're given more importance to information that's more easy to recall. So whether there's some sort of pattern that makes it stick out more and easier to think of, or something that you've come across more recently, so it's in your more recent recall and easier to pull up. So like if you ask people what has more T's, words that start with the letter T, or are there more words that have T as the third letter? Most people will say words that start with the letter T because that's real obvious. Like you can start off the top of your head thinking of words that start with T. It's easy, it doesn't take much effort. Whereas if you try to start thinking of words that have T as the third letter, you can do it, but it's not as simple of a process. You have to start going through all kinds of random words like attaining, okay, that's A-T-T, there's one, like, and they're not as obvious, it's harder to recall it. So you would come to the conclusion that there's more words that start with the letter T than there are that have T as the third letter, and it wouldn't be correct. And there's just a lot of things like that. That's a real trivial example where the mistake wouldn't really have bad consequences, but sometimes this will even work with like a correlation thing where you're trying to find the cause of a problem, and something that happened recently sticks out in your mind most, and so you use the correlation to think that's the root cause when there might be other information and something else could have caused it, but because you went with the easiest thing to recall, you misdiagnosed the root cause of the problem. Anyway, as I've said many times, I'm not trying to explain these in great depth. I'm just trying to get them to your attention. I found a site online today called the25biases.com. So that's an easy little resource for you to go if you want to look in on these. It's not, the couple little examples I saw didn't go into great depth, so it's not as good as Charlie Munger's book, but it's a place where you could go get the titles real easy if you don't want to come to YouTube and look at the titles of my videos, and then you can plug that in specifically and see what you pull up in Google or Bing or wherever you go. So anyway, this was the availability misweighing bias, and I hope you find this information helpful.